Welcome to Clutch and Go. Today I'm going to give you my first impressions of the Mazda CX-3. As you can see, it is quite the looker, and we see some interesting design cues that make this crossover hatchback SUV type thing, or CUV if you will, look quite sporty. Now firstly, the very cool thing is this thing is very technologically driven. For example, here is the key. I am not going to do anything. I am going to put it in my pocket and simply open the door using that little button, which is quite cool. And it works the other way around as well. Key still in my pocket. Car gives me one beep to let me know that I have the key outside of the car, and then another to signal that it is locked. So let's do this again. Upon entering the car, you are welcomed with all the luxuries of buttons and controls on the steering wheel, a central control unit in the form of a little screen that does not pop up. It is like that as standard. You have all the little bits and bobs, a little holder for your sunglasses, which is very convenient. I have a sunroof in this one. This is the individual plus automatic, so this is the top of the range model, and it has everything that you want in a modern car. FYI, the keys is still in my pocket, which is still convenient. Okay, so when you start the car, that is quite cool. I have a little heads-up display unit here, which is nice. That pops up upon starting the car. You've got Bluetooth and everything in the car that you want in a modern vehicle. Air conditioning that works. The automatic settings on the aircon are very effective from my experience in using the car for a few days. Sport button, yes, that's what we want. That is fantastic. Okay, then we have the instrument binnacle. It is modern, it is nice to use, it's easy. Very convenient is the different bits of information you can get on your fuel consumption, which is nice, and the range, which is probably the best feature in any modern car, knowing how far you still have to go on your tank of fuel. If you look around inside, you can see that everything is very premium, which is very cool. And you've got this stitched leather motif all over the car. You have a few details like this, obviously fake, carbon fiber piece of plastic, I guess. And everything looks premium. This brushed aluminium look at the door handle. Steering wheel looks very nice. Another little touch that I really like is the inclusion of these knee rests. I think that's very nice. It's a very nice touch. It looks fantastic with the maroon leather. And the other thing is, seats are extremely comfortable, very racy, very nice. And then if you look over there, if you can see it, maybe, wait, let me show you. If you look over here, you'll see that the car comes with a Bose sound system, which sounds fantastic, which is also just a nice little touch. Now, what we need to figure out is whether this sporty feel of the car, the swooping dash and the sporty aircon vents and all the bits and bobs match the performance, and that's what one of the things I will be finding out for you guys. Okay, so we need to figure out whether this Mazda CX-3 is as sporty as it seems. And what I can say about that for now is that the first time I got into this car, I was immediately reminiscent of the first time I got into a Renault Clio RS200 Cup, which says something about the sporty feel of the cabin at the very least. So now, let's see what it's like to drive. Okay, so this car also comes out with a reverse camera that is both easy to use and particularly daunting at the same time. It might just be me, but I don't like reverse cameras in general because they kind of have this GoPro effect. That fisheye effect, which kind of screws around with your depth perception quite a lot. So it's actually quite difficult to just reverse using the reverse camera. Now, you heard a lot of beeps. That's because this car has a lot of safety features. So when you're in reverse especially, it beeps and bobs around whenever there is something in your midst, whenever there is the slightest possibility of a collision with anything or anyone, which is nice. Can just be annoying, especially when you're in a rush and not expecting a lot of noise. Then it's also quite cool in the heads-up display. Whenever there's a car passing in your blind spot or anywhere near you, the heads-up display kind of makes these almost like Wi-Fi like little symbols around the speedometer, showing you exactly where the potential danger around you can be or might be. We also have little hazard indicators in the side mirrors, illuminating at any time when there's anything or anyone in your blind spot, which is also actually very handy. Now, the first time I drove the car, I thought these features were very, very, very annoying. But as soon as you take the car on the open road, you kind of start seeing the sensibility in it. Because it's not about being actively aware about things around you. Because let's face it, in town or in the suburbs, you kind of have to be aware of everything around you by default. But on the open road, when you are starting to lose focus because you're just driving down a long, dreary road, you start losing focus of the little things around you. And the car subtly keeps reminding you of those little things that you tend to forget about, which is actually very cool. Then there are numerous other beeps. Okay, these features can luckily be turned off, but you've got lane departure warnings as well. Now, yes, it's nothing new, but the cool thing is it also kind of lights up the line on the road, either left or right, that you are about to cross illegally. Once you have your indicator on and you are intending on doing so, it doesn't give you the same warning, which is quite cool. I think that's pretty clever. And just the little animations in the heads-up display look really, really cool to me. Then we are dealing with Mazda's new Sky Active technology. Okay, it's not entirely new, they've been using it for a few years now, but it's interesting to see how it all comes into play. As soon as I have a chance now, as soon as I find an open bit of road, let's see whether Mazda's sport mode actually does anything. Engaging sport mode. Let's do this. It's not bad. I feel like it can be a bit better. There's a definite difference in your throttle response when you engage sport mode, which is quite cool. I like that a lot. I'm going to go one step further and put it in manual as well. Engage sport mode. So now I'm going to use the flappy paddles to shift gears. Okay, let's do this. really not bad. This is one of the fastest cars that Mazda are currently producing, and I must say I am pleasantly surprised. The transmission is amazing, really smooth gearbox. Gear changes are very quick as well, and in sport mode the transmission matches the revs on the downshifts, which is very cool, I must say. Like I will demonstrate now. It first matches the revs before switching gear. Okay, so all in all, pleasantly surprised. Chassis is super responsive, and yeah, I mean, performance wise, that's kind of what you want. It's not stupidly fast, and yeah, if I take a turn like that, the car remains flat in the turn, which is awesome. It's very good news for the chassis. Chassis is very stiff. I haven't been in a situation where I felt the car understeering too much. Obviously it won't oversteer. It is a front wheel drive car, but I mean, all in all, very nice. Suspension supple rather, and responsive in general. So what can I say about the Mazda CX-3? I am extremely very pleasantly surprised. I think this is a fantastic car. It feels super amazing, and especially at the price point. This specific model, the top of the range model, will set you back 375 grand, which is not a lot considering what you get, because we really see Mazda's Sky Active technology actually working. And it's not like a lot of the other performance enhancing developments that we see in general. I'm thinking about something like Ford's EcoBoost, for example, where you just see the difference in the engine, in the performance. Sky Active technology, which is something people don't really understand. It is a philosophy. It is something that Mazda incorporates in all facets of the design of their vehicles. And we really see that shining through in the CX-3, because Sky Active technology doesn't just start and stop with the engine. That's just the beginning. It is incorporated in everything. It's incorporated in the engine, the transmission, the chassis, and the body. The whole point of it being not downsizing, but downscaling almost, I want to say, where they literally go look at every component and see how they can make it more efficient, how they can make it smaller. And the interesting thing about the new Mazda engines is that they tinkered with the compression ratio of air and fuel, changing the amount of air and the valve timing it works with to produce engines that are 15% more efficient and provide you with a bit more torque as well. And we see that shining through. And all these little subtle changes that Mazda is making to their vehicles to make them perform better and be produced better is really shining through in every facet of the vehicle. I mean, this is supposed to be a small hatchback that is slightly raised and slightly bigger with slightly larger proportions, and it really feels like a small hatchback. It really handles like a dream, it goes like a dream, and it's just topped off with a smooth transmission and a lot of little luxuries that just make for an overall pleasant experience. And at the moment, I really don't want to get out of this CX-3 because I'm comfortable, I can chuck it around a bit, I can have fun, and I've got all the luxuries I could possibly need, all in one place, all in one cabin, and all at a relatively affordable price. So that's it for my first impressions video. Stick around and I'll be giving you a full review very soon.